It's the day we've all been waiting for. India, New Zealand. Just mentioning that fixture, of course, draws bated breath for a lot of Indian fans. And right now, you're watching the cricket.com preview with me, Avnish Hegde. And as you can see, the two stellar experts that we have at our disposal, Gurkirat and Nikhil Popat. Gurkirat, your cheeky smile tells it all. Is that nervous energy spurred up?
No, I'm just happy that you're there because I had a tough time yesterday doing the preview. Hosting the preview. It's not as easy as I thought, but yeah, a
Yeah.
good test for me. Today I am happy to see you because I can do what I am more used to doing. I am happy. That's the reason for the cheeky smile because yesterday, I don't know if you noticed, we had a 45 minutes review show because we had to discuss two teams, and I realized I did not play a lot of stings because the conversation kept flowing.
No, which is good. Look, sometimes you guys need an anchor in the modern T20 game or the ODI game. You have me right now. Nikhil, what is it, man? Because I know we're 2 minutes away from the toss. There's so much written about this game. It's well documented. Your first thoughts heading into such a big game?
Bad big. That's my first reaction. Bad big. I trust the bowling attack to be able to do the job. Bad big. Just bad big.
Okay, we'll talk about, of course, the key battles. We'll talk about X factors. And, of course, we'll give you that breaking news from Dharamsala because our correspondent Somesh Agarwal tells me that expect a 100-over game because there's no rain going to be interrupted in this one, at least. Fingers crossed. And expect a big scoring one, like Nikhil Popat said right now. Gurkirat, if you're the captain, would you automatically choose to bowl? Because in the last 7 one-day internationals, all the captains winning the toss have had no hesitation to bowl first. Would you go that route as well?
Yeah, but when they've chosen to bowl first, it's not that it's been guaranteed a win. So, and we were discussing this yesterday that in this World Cup, you've had 10 matches where teams have won, 10 batting first, and 10 teams have won bowling first. So,
Bowling first.
in that regard, it's been a pretty toss agnostic tournament so far. And there's been no team that has chosen to bat after winning the toss and has won the game. So, hopefully, that can change today. Now, what I heard from the pitch report was that it's slightly dry, and I expect there to be swing in the in the first 10 overs, if not the 15 in the second innings in Dharamsala, because it has swung in Delhi, it has swung in Lucknow, and even in that game that was there between Netherlands and South Africa, there was some swing. So if I am the captain, I am choosing to bat first.
Okay, interesting call over there. Keep your comments coming through, by the way. Paris Aurora, good to see you this afternoon. Tell us, who do you think will win? Of course, you go on to say, I think Shah will be retained from the middle overs and batting depth. Sorry for Shami. Just quickly on the premeditated changes. Oh, we're bowling first?
Yeah.
Who's bowling first? India bowling first.
India.
Okay, super. Rohit Sharma, and the toss luck continues. At least the big games, that is. How do you feel about that, Nikhil? India bowling first. Does that sit well with you?
Again, if it was a slow deck, I felt maybe there was a good chance that you could bat first and bat big. But now again, you are happy to do the chasing bit. But I also expect some movement early on in the second innings under lights. We saw that in the South Africa game as well. But again, it entirely depends on what the two captains think. So let's wait and read their quotes from the captains to just have a better assessment. If it does, if they expect it to get better under lights, I think this is the template that has worked for India. So they don't want to go away from that. So let's see what's the logic there.
Okay, super. I just want to ask Gurkirat, is it actually a good sign for India? Because all the games so far this World Cup they've chased, and tonight it's the same agenda.
Yeah, a little surprised because even though Rohit said that the dew came in early, so maybe that is one of the reasons why they chose to bowl first. But yeah, you just hope that before the knockouts, because they play the semis in Mumbai or in Kolkata, unless they play Pakistan, that they just get that batting first. One good performance while batting first, because those are the venues where you again expect heavy dew. So if it works out for them, well and good. But if it doesn't, then obviously the questions would be raised as they were being raised yesterday, that could they have chosen to bat first, which, let's be honest, is the question. Toss is the first decision that you question after a result hasn't gone your way, even when it's the right decision. So I am a little split because I felt could have batted first, but it's not something that anyone should lose sleep over.
Okay, remember playing against the Kiwis has always been a banana skin for India, but they have a Tiku and the other fruit ninjas to, of course, conjure up something special. If you guys see what I did there, let's of course move on and talk to you about some pertinent stats. We always love showing you some depictions, and we'll of course talk about some key battles and give you some trivia as we move forward. But speaking of the stats, we're going to see this man in action very soon. India's strike bowler. I'm talking about Mohammad Siraj because he has the best strike rate among Indian bowlers, minimum 50 wickets, and hopefully he comes to the party. So before that, and we throw some more numbers at you, I just want to, of course, give you guys a little brief of what's happened so far. The fact of the matter remains India bowl first, and Rohit Sharma going on to say no reason. We were here training yesterday and felt a bit of dew comes in. Looks like a good pitch to bat on, and they've gone for Shami and Surya because Hardik isn't available, and of course Shardul is out as well. Just on that, what do you guys make of those changes? Because you guys were hinting upon it in various sort of post-match shows so far. Nikhil, are you content as an Indian fan with those two coming in? And he's done a classic, Kiran.
Yeah. I was too busy in the comment to share, but yeah, no problems. Happy to do Apaji. Uh, See, you expected that to happen, or both these changes, Shami and Surya. Again, that's why Hardik is who he is, and it is why we have been harping about wanting to have an option like that. But it is what it is. Maybe bowling first suits as well. Shami's taken a lot of wickets versus New Zealand bowling first, so in that regards, it may work out well. But again, this is a side that has played middle overs better versus India. So I'm very keen to see how India use Shami in. I mean, I discussed this in one of the previous videos that do they give the new ball to Shami or is it still Siraj and Bumrah? Because that could play a part in who you use in the middle overs with Kuldeep Yadav and Jadeja. Because Jadeja also doesn't have a bowling record to boast against New Zealand, and Latham and all also play spin well, and they've played Kuldeep. Conway's hit Kuldeep a lot, so that just makes all these melee battles even more to look out for. But yeah, in terms of changes, yeah, no surprises there.
Paji, the question was always going to be how are India going to attain balance once they lose someone like Hardik Pandya? Do you think they've got a little bit of balance by bringing those two blokes in essentially for one guy?
Yeah, they had no other way to go about it, honestly, because you can't really have Jadeja batting at six if you bring in Ashwin or Shami for Hardik. And we've seen in the enough in four matches that Shardul's bowling is not being trusted enough by Rohit. So if you're not going to trust Shardul as the third seamer, if you have Hardik as the third seamer, so then you have to bring in someone of the quality who can be your third seamer, which is Mohammad Shami in this regard. So, yeah, I mean, no doubts over what the changes were. It's something that we had discussed earlier also, and I'm happy to see this change. Won't really mind with if India give the new ball to Shami, because like how Nikhil mentioned, Conway has played spin well, has hit Kuldeep a lot, but Shami's been able to get Conway out a couple of times in the power play in the IPL. So that's one battle to look at, because if Conway can be dismissed early, then the spinners will be able to bowl with far more control in the middle overs.
Okay. Speaking of Conway, let's of course just reflect his stats and what he's done in India in particular, gentlemen. Very good record, I must add. Most runs in a country for Devon Conway in ODIs. And there you have it. He absolutely loves India. He knows it at the back of his hand. He has a lot of IPL pedigree playing for the CSK as well. And he was Somesh Agarwal's pick in terms of the most runs scored this competition. And Somesh is not getting that wrong, I would add, with that regard. Right. We'll, of course, also talk about the Trent Bolt threat. We'll talk about Matt Henry and how exceptional he is. But all of that in the mid innings, because India, of course, is going to be bowling first. So I just want to focus on that. And we can probably feature our key battles next. Right. Gurkirat, who is the most scariest batsman that New Zealand have that India would be worried about this afternoon? You mentioned Conway over there. But I'm getting even Tom Layton's sweet vibes, I hope that doesn't come to the fore. Any other key battles you'd like to see in this first inning?
Yeah, Tom Latham was the name that I had in my mind. I felt that he could be the X factor today because of how well he's played spin, and had a good innings that day in Chennai. So maybe could carry that form. But yeah, that battle, and Actually, this is not the biggest of the ground. So if even if Glenn Phillips can is able to get a start, play 15-20 deliveries, then he can also go after spinners. We've seen that he's done that for New Zealand even in other formats. So today should be a good battle. All would all depend upon the start, and let's see if New Zealand can break the stranglehold that the Indian spinners have had on the opposition. We've seen there's been a pattern that the first 10 overs India haven't really started well. Sometimes the lengths have been too full, the lines have not been right, and then the spinners have come in and just put a stranglehold and put the choke on. But I feel that New Zealand have that batting that if they get a decent start, then they could actually look to attack one of the spinners and just ensure that whosoever that spinner is not able to settle into a line and length.
Okay, Nikhil, I'm looking at that top order, and we obviously look at Conway. We've spoken about him, but what about the young boy Rachin Ravindra? Do you think he can really grab the collar against these Indian bowlers, or do you think India have their plans set in place for someone like him as well?
Yeah, and it is something that, as Paji said, India haven't begun well, and that is
Hmm.
something that I expect them to correct today. Because if not, William also even in that last game, the moment after he was dropped, he was very positive versus spin and pace equally. And Rachin is someone who is not missing out on a lot of loose balls that are bowled to him. So that will invariably put a lot of pressure on India. And again, their usage of Jadeja, we've said this in the past. Sometimes they've held back Jadeja to counter the lefty, but there are enough left-handers today. So his introduction also becomes critical because then the pressure can't just be on Kuldeep to take those wickets. So uh, I think India should be able to take care of Rachin, the batter and bowler both today. But again, if it's a slow deck and they get some wickets early in the chase, then it could get different. But we can talk about that in the mid innings. With the bat, I am not looking at a big score. So hopefully that is what it is. In terms
Okay,
of from
cool.
Rachin.
Okay, from Rachin.
Yeah.
I'll get your predictions in a bit, and of
just
course, we'll
just
speak about the X factors. But yeah, go on, Gukirat.
just one bit over here, how Nikhil spoke about India delaying Jadeja, and because there have been left-handers in the middle order, but today there are two left-handers in the top three, and Conway in recent times. In fact, I was reading our preview from the beginning of 2022. Conway has gotten out to left arm spin three times. So if I just hope that India also know those numbers and they don't just get
Of
into
course.
that strategy, or that line of thought. Oh, there's a left-hander, so we don't want to bowl Jadeja, because last game also Jadeja got rid of Shanto and he set him up well. So yeah, I think he's been bowling well enough, and in fact, even in the IPL, he was bowling to left-handers more than decently. It was not that you couldn't really bowl Jadeja to left-handed batters. So yeah, hopefully today could be a day to introduce him early into the attack.
And look, Jadeja knows Devon Conway pretty well because they play for the same IPL franchise. So something would have probably, looking from a Jadu perspective, exploit the chinks in the armor. By the way, shout out to all the people who regularly join us. Pranav Anand going on to say Bumrah should be feeling the circle throughout. Don't want to anywhere near the outfield because there's so much spoken about this outfield. We don't want to go there yet. I want India to lose, saying Vasant Narayan. So much pitch doctrine. Please call them out. I mean, we'll, of course, shed light in the pitch and whatnot, but all you lovely people joining us right now, if you guys think India will win, or if you guys just hope for a good game, like this video, because look, we are 36.8k today, and a fantastic shout out to the rest of the team. They've been working their absolute backside off, and of course, Gurkirat and Nikhil, who've been brilliant in all these previews and reviews. Right, keep your comments coming through. I really want to ask the boys their X factors, and that is next. Right, Gurkirat, you mentioned Tom Latham as an X factor. Give me a different one, and give me a Indian bowler as an X factor in this first innings, please.
Yeah, Indian bowler as an X factor, I'd have to go with Ravindra Jadeja, because I
Hmm.
just pulled up those numbers, because Devon Conway is averaging 19, three dismissals in six innings versus left arm spin from the beginning of 2022. Glenn Phillips has two dismissals in four innings, average of 11, and Ravindra has two dismissals in two innings, average of 5.5. So yeah, Jadeja is one. My other option would, if India were batting first, I would have certainly gone for a certain Shreyas Iyer. because he has a good record versus New Zealand, and uh, he's had a good record versus Santner as well. Both him and Gill have had a good record versus Santner. So because you asked for a bowler, I said Jadeja, or else I felt like going for Shreyas Iyer today.
Okay. Next, are you in agreement with Paji, or do you have something else up your sleeve?
Slightly torn between two bowlers in Shami and Siraj. Again, Shami far more obvious likely because again discussed in the past about his record bowling first against New Zealand, and you'd hope for better control from him. Although sorry, it's just blanked out for me. In terms of Siraj, I think today could be the day that he has less pressure on him, and that could really just free him up. Uh, and hopefully he can have a worldwide spell like he had in that Asia Cup game. Again, not expecting a six for, but just find a way to just make an impact because I think he's lacked control and he's looked good, but probably only in patches, which is not something that you've seen in the recent past. So one of Shami Siraj there, whoever is, hopefully take a three for, both take a three for if you want to. Uh, from New Zealand, difficult to look past Tom Latham. Because again exceptional skills to combat Kuldeep and everybody else. If you have to take one name, Pajit already took his name in terms of matchups. I'll probably risk it with Daryl Mitchell. Uh, he has to get a start. If he gets a start, it could be very good for him. He's been in good form as well this year, so might as well just make the most of it. And in the second innings, if there is due early, as Rohit expects, I think Rachin's overs might also be bowled by Daryl Mitchell. So again, he may not pick up more, but he could eventually chip in with a couple here and there, and also gets catches. So that is it. Mitchell, Shami, Siraj, good luck.
Okay, love it. All you 50 people watching, please like this video. I'm going to encourage some comments right now. Ed is Stark going on to say Virat Kohli is 935 runs and average 233 in 8 innings till the 21st October, 24th October in his career. I mean, they're just mad, these people. Honestly, love that stat though, Ed is. Keep them coming through. Noodleax going on to saying, Avnish, will you be there in Chepauk tomorrow? If yes, yeah, we're going to be there. We're going to be, of course, outside Chennai and that beautiful stadium doing the fan camps. Check out the England South Africa fan camps. It went really well as well. And we'll take some questions right now. We'll go back to that first one. Jay Momaya also has a good one. Karan B has a good one as well. But what about the pitch doctoring, guys? I mean, Gurkia, let's just shed a little bit of light on it because on the eve of the game, it looks like as if this deck was taken out of New Zealand and placed in Dharamsala. But today, it's like they've given it a haircut. Pura ganja kar diya, bhai. Bald surface, it's dry. What the hell's happening?
It's not the first time it has happened. It won't be the last,
But
because
ICC event hai, bhai. Like they have to have some respect for the game.
even in ICC events it has happened. I don't know if anyone remembers the pitch that was there in Motera for 2011 quarterfinal. It was a very dry surface. I remember whosoever was doing the pitch report. I think it might have been Harsha who said it a day before, or maybe tweeted a day before. He said that don't be surprised if all the water lines to Motera are cut off because the pitch, and India played Ashwin. In fact, when India played Pakistan in that semi-final in Mohali, the Mohali pitch had decent amount of grip, and we have seen a lot of matches in Mohali. Mohali's not been the kind of surface where you are able to defend 260. In fact, Pakistan once chased, I think it was 2007. Pakistan once chased 320 against India at that venue. So it's not for the first time. It has happened before. 2016 World T20 semi-final, World T20 game, India versus New Zealand at Nagpur. New Zealand defended 126 in a T20 game. So it has happened before. It will happen.
But will it work in India's favor, bro? Because you look at the spin options that these guys have. Satner, Ravindra, Glenn Phillips can bowl. Of course, they have other options as well.
It has often happened that whenever India made extreme pitches to suit spin, it has backfired, regardless of the format, and they still don't tend to learn. So I don't know, but see, this pitch doctoring has happened whenever the host nation, and it has happened in the favor of the host nation many times. So it's and you expect there to be some advantage for the home team, and this is that advantage. So if it is happening on the instructions, I don't know, but it's something. It happens. It happens. It's not new. It will keep happening.
Yeah, it's absolutely shocking. Next, I don't want to ask you about that because we have so many questions to cater to. So I'll ask you this one, which is a rather general one, because you look at New Zealand and how they've been so clinical in the first 4 games, Nikhil. What do you think those 2, 3 factors have been from the Kiwis that make them such a solid team in a World Cup competition?
Yeah, I think it's clarity of roles and very good execution as well in terms of we discussed this in the last New Zealand game that
Yeah.
they are a side that rarely make basic errors.
Hmm.
And trust me, this year in the World Cup itself, we've seen plenty of sides make plenty of basic errors, just handed oppositions, yeah, take the game, we don't want it. And so let's not get into that rant. But that's what New Zealand do avoid. They read the conditions well. And the thing is, they have depth to go to somebody else if the conditions are not as per their first reading. So you look at the current squad as well. You have two left arm spinners for today. India is right hand heavy. So if they want to do that, they can have 20 overs of left arm spin there. But if there is due and they expect, we may not need, the left arm spin of Rachin, they have Daryl Mitchell who can then they can turn to. And again, here the point is he's the fifth or sixth bowler. It's not that he's the primary bowler. Their primary bowler are still good enough. Their primary batters are still good enough. Be it Conway, be it Tom Latham coming good. Darren Mitchell has had a good knock in a chase, and Will Young, the guys he scored well in Bangladesh. He came in, has had a good score as well. So it's not easy for Young as well to keep going out and coming in, but that he's been able to perform. It just tells you that the roles in their minds are very clear. That okay, it's a combinational effort. You rarely see just one guy out batting the side. It's always been a team that hits you together. And that's what really has always made New Zealand what they are. So, again, all the cliches about punching about that weight, the sum being greater than the individuals, and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it how they just do things right, like you said, the fundamentals, and how often does that make the difference in the larger scheme of things. And just a shout out for New Zealand fans, right? Think about it,
Yeah.
Gurkirat. They played so well in that 2015 World Cup, they lost to the host. They played so well in the 2019 World Cup, they lost to the host. 2023 also, do you think it'll be an India New Zealand final and they lose to the host? Because that'll just be like, why the hell are we playing World Cups anymore? They're always going to be the bridesmaid.
I was unmuting myself before
No problem.
uh, yeah, you don't want to be so cruel on New Zealand, and Mikkel's right there. So why do you want New Zealand to be there? Might as well have a India South Africa final, and it would be good. South Africa are really playing well, especially with the bat. So yeah, I don't know if New Zealand will actually reach the finals, but so far they could look for the semis, and it has so happened with them that whenever they've reached semis without any sweat, they've just managed to then lose in the semis. It happened in the 2016 World T20 where they were unbeaten and then they lost in the semis to England. Last World T20 as well, they only lost to England and they'd won 4 games, but they lost in the semis to Pakistan, who really did not seem like a team that could beat them. So yeah, see, it's not that New Zealand are the perfect team. There are areas you can hit them, but it's just that a lot of teams are unable to hit them at all those areas combined, which is New Zealand's greatest strength. That when they know, okay, we've been hit in one area, they will ensure that that cascading effect doesn't happen. And when they get on top, then they make sure that okay, they will target the opposition's each and every weakness, and they'll make sure that once they have the opposition down, they don't come back up again. So uh, I think a lot of teams actually sometimes just lose tactically to New Zealand, which is something that needs to be looked at far more closely than just saying, oh yeah, they're the nice guys. I think the most redundant piece of analysis that you can ever come up with New Zealand is just say, oh, they are nice guys, and
Nice guys.
nice guys don't finish last. It's a rubbish. It's actually a rubbish analysis, because that's not analysis. It's not cricket analysis. It's philosophy. There are far more other things that you can take examples of if you want to teach someone about philosophy. Just don't come up with this. Oh, these are the nice guys, so they always do well.
Okay, what are you coming up with this? Because Melville's saying it's India's match. You want Gurkira to predict one like is equal to. What are you going
Uh,
for?
Shubman Gill's score today, number of
Nice.
likes will ensure the runs that Shubman Gill have, because Shubman and both Shreyas have good records versus New Zealand. So yeah, hopefully they have a good game. And I think KL has had a 97, Virat has had 100, Rohit has had 100. So let's hope one of them get a 100 today.
Okay, Gill, remembers 14 runs away from getting to 2,000 runs, and that'll make him the fastest in
Yeah.
terms of innings. I think Hashim Amla got him 40 innings, but this is 38. So let's see how that goes forward, guys. Right, before we end this preview, always love to get the predictions out of the way. India bowling first, and I'm guessing a fifth chase in the cards. I might be speaking too soon, but what is the magic number that we're looking at? Nikhil Popa, do not say VVS 281.
That's a challenge. If I'm not, if you want a very good chase, Gill century maybe, then you can go with MS 224.
Okay.
That could be a very handy score to chase, even in those conditions. So yeah, let's stick to that. क्योंकि उससे ज़्यादा ऊपर रहेगा तो then there will be some jitters if you lose a few early. So let's not go to VVS today. VVS, thank you so much. We'll take your services tomorrow.
Okay, super. Everyone's going 247, 265, 282. Gurkirat, when will you be scared as an Indian fan? Like, when will it get out of India's ability to chase this game? 330, 340, or do you think we can still pull it off?
See, you'd get worried if New Zealand get around 280, 290. So from that area you'll start feeling worried. But something in the range of 280 to 320, you'd feel that India should still chase it because they are expecting due, and you feel with the way the top five have been batting, and Sky coming in because he had a few good knocks in that Australia series. India should not count themselves out. So yeah, I won't really mind if today is a stiff chase for India, because that would really test them. And with some might just say that I'm jinxing it or whatever, but with 4 wins out of 4, you would feel that India are nearly there in the semis. So before you get into the semis, you want the team to be tested in all kinds of situations. Be now batting first hasn't happened, so it makes no point to talk about it, but now that they are bowling first, you would actually want to see how India respond if spinners are taken to the attack, and then if there's a stiff chase. So far India have not had a stiff chase. That chase in Delhi, which was about 270, it was still 50-60 runs short of what was the par score. So a stiff chase is what I'm looking for from an Indian point of view, and a stiff successful chase, not that it's a stiff chase and you end up losing. But say if you are to chase 300, 315, how do you go about it? So still don't I'm really not sure about how the pitch will play out, because they say it's dry, but yeah. So let's see, 280, 285.
Okay, super. With that, a couple of more questions. We'll wrap up, of course, before the first ball on this Sunday afternoon. India, New Zealand, Dharamsala. You can cast a live blog. There's fantastic things on cricket.com, on the app and the website. Robin Kumar going to ask us next, how much do you think a hit do you think India's confidence would take going forward if we end up on the losing side tonight?
See, you can't just look at it as a loss to be in the very first place. You have to look at how the game panned out, and then try and pick the bones of out of it. Okay, where did you lose it, if at all? Was it the toss? Was it that you allowed the partnership to grow, or was it a late or a very good knock or an incredible spell? So I think a loss could be due to many things. So again, I don't think it will shatter confidence. It has to be very, very significant for you to be thinking so much that okay, it's a league game, you have won 4 out of 4, so you still have that room, but that room doesn't allow for complacency, and this opposition is not something that you can be ever be forget overconfident confident also. matlab, from an Indian fan point of view, this is not a side where you feel array nikal denge. So uh, of course you always respect the opposition, so let's see where it goes. Hopefully not a loss, or yeah, hopefully not a loss. Let's just stay there. है तो फिर बाद में बात करें.
Okay, and Pachi Chachand going on to ask you, why is India not batting first? Is Rohit fearful that our weakness will be exposed?
We spoke about this. Maybe they feel the conditions will get better to bat first. Now, also if that is the fear, you want to protect your weakness. If there is that, I don't think there's anything wrong. Why do you want to expose your weakness, even if that is the line of thinking? But yeah, I'd really like India to bat first. when they play England next Sunday and when they play South Africa in Kolkata, because you want to really see how do India approach batting first, because uh, Hardik's, even though Hardik had a good innings versus Pakistan in the Asia Cup, he's not been consistent with the bat, and we've spoken enough about Jadeja's lack of form. So you want to see how India then go about batting first, because yeah, I don't mind even if India are trying to protect their weakness if there is any. I mean, right? Honestly, I don't think that in today's times you can really protect your weaknesses with the amount of data that is there. But even if that is the line of thought, there's nothing wrong in it.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much for your time, because honestly, you guys have been champions, not just Gurkirat and Nikhil Popar, but all the guys chipping in to the comments as well. They make these kind of shows very special. Hopefully, it is, of course, a day to remember for the men in blue. Unlike all the little losses we've had against New Zealand, Southampton, Nagpur, Manchester comes to mind.
Can't hear
Hopefully, it's
anything.
not Dharamsala.
Can't hear anything. Sorry.
Perfect, perfect. That's the way we want to do it. And just a shout out to, of course, other content that you guys can check out on YouTube. We've done a vlog. It's called cricket.com on tour. Episode 3 is out, where I think you can see some of the boys play Garba. You can have a beer in that with me as well, in Picos as well. I mean, quite a few things we're dishing out this World Cup. So, of course, give us a like on this particular one and the rest of the videos. Gurkirat, Nikhil, and me will be back for the mid-inning show. Until the next time, so goodbye, just momentarily, and let's pray to God India get this New Zealand monkey off their back. Cheers, guys.